MMA Oddsbreaker, that's Ryan Jimmo getting ready to fight Sean O'Connell. Of course, I'm Frank Trigg. He's fighting on April 16th. Come up here in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. So you have to go to the other coast, right? You're in Edmonton.
No, right now I'm living down in Arizona right now.
Oh, where are you training at in Arizona?
Training at Power with Ryan Bader and CB Dalloway and those guys.
So horrible camp. No one good over there at all.
No.
You don't get good workouts at all. There's no getting pushed for Ryan Jimmo during this.
And I'm the best wrestler in the whole camp. So.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst. Walking and going, hey, it's wrestling practice.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to just lay down right now? Just stay here? It's like, what do you want me to do here? Yeah.
That's sort of how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. But why did you choose to go there? You could have went anywhere in the country, and anywhere in the States at least. Why did you choose to go down there?
Yeah. Well, I was with the Blackzilians for a little while, and just wasn't the right fit for me. You know, it's just not the same kind of people. Well, I didn't get along with a lot of the people down there, and but when I was down there, I met Mike Van Arsdale, and we clicked pretty good, and. So he lived in Arizona here, so I kind of followed him out here a few times for a little bit of training, and I hooked up with Ryan Bader and the Power guys and Aaron Simpson, and I also been working with a guy named Tim McClellan. Yep. He's a strength and conditioning guy, and he's also my karate instructor. So I started getting back into karate again. I actually went in a karate tournament probably about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. How was it? How did you do?
Well, I haven't done an actual point karate tournament in a long time. But I fought a guy on the national team, and I thought it was a tie fight, but he edged me, and I ended up third with the repertoire system.
Oh, okay, so not bad. I mean, and people at home don't understand. Like, that's really impressive. Well, because the point system is it's like boxing. Like I can go box with Rocky Marciano, and Sugar Ray Leonard, and they're gonna beat the crap out of me. But if they go spar other guys that they haven't sparred with in a long time, or other real high level pros, they fall apart because they don't have the speed, the timing, all that stuff. And you're worrying about takedowns. We worry about submissions. You don't worry about point karate, so it's a different game.
It is a different game. I actually got into a little bit we kind of tied up, and I actually pushed his head down to do a knee, and I kind of lifted my knee up, and I had to stop myself. You know what I mean? Just purely at instinct. So I I stopped it though.
Well, obviously with Leo Machida and yourself, karate's been a big portion of your art. It's a big portion of how you fight.
Yeah.
And for a while, people you had this long unbeaten streak. No one could stop you because they couldn't catch you because you were so fast with your feet and so fast with your hands. You weren't finishing anybody because they couldn't attack you. They had to run as much as they had to chase. Like, it was kind of a weird game. Yeah. Now guys seem to kind of be getting in your face and kind of coming after you a little bit more, but it really hasn't done them very well. Now, even though you lost the Jimmy Manuel, you hurt yourself. Your leg is more of a leg injury than anything else.
Yeah.
What could have happened? Like, what happened in that fight that could have gone differently? I mean, obviously than the injury. What else could have happened in that fight that gone differently that you would have been able to pull off the victory?
So, when I went to Blackzilians, it wasn't the right school for me. It wasn't the right place for me to train. I kind of got away from my kind of roots. When I was up in Edmonton, I was with Frank Lee's, and they have a kickboxing, but they have a traditional martial art background kind of. So my karate, and I got to use my karate with some kickboxing, and it worked out really well. When I went down there, it was a lot of Dutch kickboxing, which isn't quite my style. With the Jimmy Manuel fight, I had just moved here about 2 months before. Okay. New camp, just getting acquainted with my karate, and I was kind of having a few mixed signals. I think if I would have been a little more aggressive, like just 10 to 15% busier, more aggressive, it would have been a completely different fight. I didn't really do a whole lot or fight very well, and I fell into a relative standstill. So I clinched with him a lot. My takedowns they weren't quite clicking yet. Because I just started working with the wrestlers again. And I was doing a little bit of karate, a little bit of boxing, and still had some kickboxing remnants hitting in the background. So nothing was really clicking on the right levels,
Well, things are going to be clicking now for Sean O'Connell. Have you stepped up now and things are – so how long have you been down in Arizona?
I've been living here consistently since probably August.
Okay, so you go back and forth. Obviously, you have travel, you got trips, you got appearances. You go home and see your family up in Alberta, but the majority of the time you're there in Arizona.
Yeah, I haven't. I went to. I was in Thailand helping Alistair train for his Frank Mir fight in January for most of the month of January. But other than that, I've been right here. Sticking with the wrestlers, sticking with karate, and gelling with the team.
So now who's going to corner you, and is there any weird verbiage coming out of the corners that like if we're at home, we hear something that yells something like lunchbox or mellow yellow, and it's going to mean something to you that we don't get, or is it just a regular verbiage corner?
Well, I got Aaron Simpson in my corner for this fight, and I got Tim McClellan, my karate teacher, and I think I have someone from Minnesota that I've done karate with quite a bit down here as kind of my third warm up guy.
Okay.
So we get a couple of kind of verbal cues. Like I always like playing video games, and it allows me to pretend that I'm in a video game and disassociate myself from it.
Okay.
So and sometimes I'll like take pressure off you and allow you to have fun and experiment a little bit more. So that's something we're gonna do. Also, speed and karate are gonna be another thing because I mean when I'm in there, sometimes like I'll stop doing the karate and stop doing because I have really high level karate. And we saw it a little bit in MSV, but I was pretty conservative with it. I hadn't actually done any karate. I've been kind of mixing kickboxing and some traditional martial arts a little bit. But so I've really gotten back in touch with that, and you're going to see it. It's going to be a different movement for me.
That's good because when you even in MFC when you had fast feet, it was very impressive, especially when I was commentating sitting ringside. It's like wow, he really knows how to move when he wants to move. He just didn't need to move. It became a sense of not that you didn't want to move. You didn't need to move. Like there's no reason. The guys you were fighting weren't threatening you in any way. So you just kind of stood still. You just kind of stood there. Like there's no way for them to catch you. So why expend the energy? Now these guys obviously are coming after a little bit more. So we're gonna be able to see that motion because you're gonna have to use that motion to stay out of the way.
Yeah, I've had to be like obviously UFC guys they get a little bigger check and there's a little bit it's worth going for the risk of the knockout. So guys are a little bit hungrier doing that. So
break down Sean O'Connell. What is he like as a fighter? You know, when you're watching tape, like what do you see that maybe that I don't see when I'm watching tape on him?
You know what? I saw he likes coming. He likes to throw in the pocket. You know, I don't tend to stay in the pocket very much, so I think it's going to be a bit of a disadvantage for him. He likes to. I think he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's training with Jeremy Horn down in Salt Lake City, I believe. So I mean, I think jiu-jitsu is his kind of bread and butter, but he just simply hasn't faced the same kind of opponents that I have. You know what I mean? I think his last guy he fought was Mikhail Wedderburn. He's a Canadian guy. I mean, he beat him in like 3 minutes, but like this guy up in Canada, Mikhail, he's like the guy when you want to put a win on your record, that's the guy you fight. You know?
Oh,
so
got you. Okay.
Yeah. So like I think there's going to be a different level of opponents that we face and a different level of training partners too as well.
Even though your records are relatively close, 15-4 for him and 18-3 for you, it's been a quality of opponent game has been completely different. Not to mention quality of training camp. Your partners make a big difference. Who's your main partner for this? That was like this is the guy getting me ready for Sean.
I was CB Dalloway and I are training a lot for his fight, and then he obviously wasn't here for the last week or two because he just had that fight with Caesar, and Ryan Bader just kind of the last 2 or 3 weeks getting back into the grappling and stuff. He had a busted up hand, and another guy named Aaron Brown. He's a former NFL player. He played on the St. Louis Rams. He just had his first fight here in Arizona at Duel for Domination, and he's got a really good wrestling background, and so he's been a big help for me, as well as this other young kid, 21 years old, named Gilbert. He's a pure Muay Thai fighter, so he's been a really great training partner as well.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Ryan Jimmo fighting April the 16th. Up in Quebec City, Canada, in UFC. He's fighting Sean O'Connell. I honestly, I mean, just no disrespect to Sean. I mean, obviously, he's a good fighter. I mean, the UFC picked him up. I just don't see him being in your quality neighborhood. I think this is one of those fights you can be able to go out there, show us your new foot speed, show us your new hand speed, and put a smack on him, and get the crowd to kind of go, oh, Ryan Jimmo's one of these guys that could actually get a knockout. I just don't see him being the same level as you. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not quite to the space of Ryan Jimmo yet, and that's just my opinion. That's just how I see this fight going down.
I like the way you think, Frank.
Good. So if you get knocked out of the night, I want 50%.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, Ryan. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bud. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Good seeing you, Frank.
Take care, bud.
Bye-bye.